Hello again, and welcome to the Holly Dudes Podcast, Episode 2. I'm Steve.
I'm Tim.
All right, so let's get into it. First off, last week's box office.
Yeah.
Coming in number one, we had Novocaine, $8.8 million, brings its worldwide total to $15.4 million on an $18 million budget. That's not too shabby.
That's not bad. That's not bad. You know what? I counted that movie out when I saw it. I thought there's not a chance that we're going to see another one. But the $8.8 million budget, though, really makes sense.
You know?
Sorry. $18 million budget.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a bad-looking movie. It makes sense that they didn't spend a whole bunch of money on it.
Three scenes outside.
Right. No, overall, yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm glad to see it, creeping its way up there. They say about double, so $36 million. What do you think? Is it going to happen?
I think it can. It's already about halfway there.
I mean, do you think they spent a whole, $18 million on advertising marketing for this?
Honestly, I think they might have. I've seen ads everywhere for it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. They did have quite a large internet advertising campaign.
Probably getting to $40 million would be safest for them, but I think they could do it. Especially considering what is out and what is coming out, I feel like Novocaine's going to have some legs.
So you're thinking we might see that at the top of the box office again?
Yeah. And when the awards season, these companies start screening, it's not getting any awards. It's not going to be back in theaters.
I wouldn't be surprised if it gets dethroned after this week, just for the recognizable IP. But I'm sure we will be talking about it next week on the roundup again.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 2 is Black Bag. Yes. Oh, I'm so happy about this. This thing is fantastic. So glad to see it is at least doing something. However, $7.6 million additional brings this worldwide budget to $16.1 on a $50 million budget. $50 million.
Hey, I'll give it another $6 next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I don't.
If I could get out and see it, yeah, we'll see.
As much as I loved this thing, as much as I recommend it to just about everyone that I talked to about movies recently, I don't know where that other $84 million or so is going to come from.
I think it's just going to be a write-off for the studio, and everyone will keep working. And
how many write-offs do you get in a year? Because it seems like 1 in 20 films is worth anything anymore. So
I mean, look, the same thing happened after the last writer's strike. The movies that came out did not make much money after the strike, so they should have expected it.
You would think, but maybe there's much smarter people than us somewhere, that are making these choices. Who knows?
No.
Who knows?
No.
Who knows? But glad to see it at number 2. I just I wish it was maybe a little bit higher overall. Mickey 17 legging its way to number 3. It's last gasp there.
Third week in theaters.
Another 7.4 brings it to 94.5 worldwide. Estimated budget of $119 million. This bad boy is coming to streaming on the 25th, which is probably just a couple of days from when this is going to air.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about that? Mickey 17 getting 3 legs in the box
$95 million
office.
is great for a quirky sci-fi film. I think that $119 million. Where did it go?
Well, it went to all the space stuff and the creature animations. I mean, none of that stuff was horrid.
Creatures were in okay.
It was all great.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I don't. How did that get greenlit at $119 million?
Name recognition of Robert Pattinson and Bong Joon-ho.
Okay.
Following Parasite, I would say if I was a major distributor and
you take a chance.
Bong Joon-ho came to me with an idea and said, I'll put Robert Pattinson in it, and I would probably give him $100 million. Okay. So here you go. Unfortunately, that didn't really work out for them.
No.
So, if you haven't seen it, I would say definitely check this thing out when it's streaming on Max next week.
Yeah.
Max in the United States, not 100% sure what that is if you're
like
listening in another country,
$8.
star.
Yeah.
You know, it's about $8 here. So if you're here in the States, skip that Big Mac that's now $10.99 and get yourself a Mac subscription.
Yeah.
Check this one out.
Yeah, why not?
And our number 4, almost like an honorable mention, is Brave New World. Still legging it along.
Somehow. It's been in theaters for what, like a month?
Yeah.
6 weeks?
Yeah.
Valentine's Day came out. Yeah. Paddington and Peru came out at the same time. So this I don't know how it's still making as much money as it did.
Yeah. I mean, almost 400 million worldwide.
Right.
Estimated budget of about 400.
This
so
weekend?
Yeah, and it's
good for them.
Seeing estimates between 350 and $380 million for this one. 392. You got to figure after all these reshoots, all the marketing, all the
State Farm ads.
How many different trailers?
You know how many State Farm ads I've seen about Captain America? Why?
They had to do something.
Why?
After the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl, I mean, they got
to
switch up a little bit, right? I'm sure Mahomes is, getting back in the gym.
He's too busy crying to the refs right now.
Yeah, setting up the next big scheme for NFL next year.
Yeah, they're writing the script.
I still haven't gotten out to see this Brave New World.
No.
One of these days it'll be on streaming and I'll check it out, but I'm not. I don't think I'm rushing out to see that. I don't think the MCU is anything.
What have they done?
Nothing.
What have they done since Endgame? What have they done?
Let me ask you this: what Marvel properties of the umpteen million that are coming out this year are you excited for?
Fantastic Four, that might be good. Thunderbolts.
So what about Fantastic Four enthuses you? Is it the property of getting a Fantastic Four movie?
Yeah, it's a different Fantastic Four movie.
But what about the other
Galactus.
2 Fantastic movies that we got? 3? 2?
We're not going to talk about the third one.
Yeah, that's fair.
We're not going to talk about that because they did my boy Josh Trank wrong. Release the Trank cut.
Yeah, release the Trank cut. Oh man, I don't.
Give that man another trailer to trash. Let him have his way. I mean, we saw how great Chronicle was.
Okay, but Chronicle is a fantastic movie. I do love Chronicle. Pioneered the found footage film outside of horror.
Let him do some horror-based, what would that be? Just superhero origin movie? I mean, they weren't even really superheroes.
Dude, I would take
movie,
a horrifying Spider-Man. How about that? If you're going to force-feed me Spider-Man every 6 years, give me something dark and terrible one of these times,
Right.
Yeah, the dark MCU. I'd be into that.
Yes, like Morbius.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, the death of Spum.
Yeah.
Long overdue.
What are you excited for this year then?
Thunderbolts.
That's
the only thing that I'm even remotely interested in. I'm sure they'll find a way to fuck it up. It doesn't shock me. You know what terrifies me the most, right? So I have a theory. Okay. So this Captain America Brave New World thing, right? So they released a trailer that was very Marvel trailer-esque, right? And they went, oh my gosh, everyone hates this thing.
Yeah.
So then they started cutting these trailers, and I'm sure some of you have seen them, that were much more similar to the sort of trailer you would see in from a spy thriller.
Yeah. The
sort of trailer you might see from like maybe some A24 sort of thing, you know, oh man, to try to give this thing a different vibe, right? To try to tell people, oh, this isn't just some Phase 6 Marvel property. This is going to be, the next Winter Soldier, And, while I say I haven't seen it, but, a lot of people I respect have said that, it is not that. So, I hope what terrifies me is they were putting out these trailers for the Thunderbolts and these promotional properties, and it was like fairly like, okay, so we're going to do a slightly maybe edgier Marvel property. Okay, cool. And now they released this straight up A24 trailer, right? It is just 100% change of tone, change of pacing, and that terrifies me. Because what have you people done?
Now. They're grasping.
Exactly.
They're trying to.
Oh no! Did your test screenings bomb?
Yeah.
Oh no!
You know what? I am not interested at all in seeing David Harbour's horrible Russian accent again. That was the worst part. The worst part of Black Widow.
Fun. He's
fun. Over the top, cheesy, just corny writing.
Gosh.
You know what he is? He is Bert Kreischer. He is Bert Kreischer.
I can't believe.
Doing a horrible joke over and over again. Kill him off as soon as possible. Please.
No.
Please. Stop putting this guy into these movies where he's just going to do that horrible Russian accent. Alexei, in Russian. Isn't that crazy? No, it's annoying. Stop it.
I can't believe you said that.
David Harbour, I'm looking at you. Knock it off.
David Harbour, I'm looking at you.
Let that phone ring. Do not answer. You're better than my calls. You're better.
Please pick up my calls.
No.
Oh man, but yeah, no, I don't think this Phase 6 has went anywhere.
No.
I don't see where this is going. I think they're grasping at straws. So yeah, somebody with actually, some Marvel property stuff in here. I got more all throughout my house, man. I loved the first few phases. Endgame is the greatest third act of a film of all time, but they have completely fumbled the ball after that. So.
Yeah. Lack of cohesion.
No. Where is any of this going? Whereas you built this incredible connected web of stories for the first 20, 21 movies, whatever.
Yeah.
And and now what is any of this? None of these postseason or post credit
have added up to.
No, do any of them connect in some kind of cohesive story? No, they don't.
I feel like they would have, but there's a story that we'll get to later that sort of put a fork in their plans.
Yeah, there was that. We will talk about that a little bit.
I'm sure everyone knows.
You would think. You would think an incredibly wealthy company like a Disney Marvel, right? With a madman like Kevin Feige, would figure this out.
Right.
But
or at least have a plan B.
Well, smarter people than me. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about anything.
Yep.
No idea.
We're new here.
Yeah. Unpaid intern.
Yep.
Well, shall we get into the movies?
Let's get started.
Oh boy. Well, so first off, Electric State, straight to Netflix. Most expensive streaming movie of all time. Reported budget of $320 million. Let's talk about it.
All right, so Millie Bobby Brown loses her brother and parents in a car accident, needs to go and find them, comes across all sorts of zany robot and human characters. Well only really
she has to find her brother because this robot visits her that she recognizes from a cartoon that they were watching together, and it tells her through snippets of dialogue from this cartoon that her brother is
It pulls a
alive.
bumblebee. It pulls a bumblebee.
Yes, thank you. The whole time I was watching this, I was trying to figure out what was that other horrible movie.
Bumblebee wasn't horrible.
I'm not a Transformers guy.
Yeah.
It's just not my... is that a Gundam?
Yeah. It's the new Pacific Rim.
Is that the DLC for MechWarrior 5?
Lost me there.
Well, yeah, I guess you don't play video games.
I'm not a gamer.
I grew up in the old MechWarrior 2, Windows 94, baby.
Is that Vector Man?
No.
Sega Genesis?
Oh my god, no. I never had a Genesis. I actually never played a Genesis.
You'll have to come over. I still have one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're filming at your house. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Oh, yeah. You guys want to see that content, right?
Right.
Come on.
Right?
Oh, Come on. Battletoads. Vector Man.
Yeah, let me know if you want to,
Warlock?
if you want to see some video game streaming. I'm sure we could figure that one out, too. Yeah. So, Millie Bobby Brown doing stuff, going to find her brother with this robot and stuff, meets Chris Pratt.
Gets chased by, what's his name? Giancarlo Esposito, who plays the same character in every...
Same character he plays in every single movie.
Character.
I'm a guy who specializes in hurting
I'm going to stand here and talk like I'm a nerd.
I'm menacing.
Not buying it. You know who I do buy though? The Tooch.
The Tooch.
Stanley Tucci.
The Tooch giving his
Plays-
absolute best mixture of Robert Downey Jr. and Captain America Civil War and a late stage Bruce Willis.
No, he is straight up Steve Jobs. He's just playing Steve Jobs.
Stanley Tucci playing the evil Steve
Same
Jobs,
turtlenecks.
keeping all of this going.
Yeah, he's having fun though. I didn't mind him.
So essentially, Stanley Tucci has designed this it's kind of a computer system that
Virtual reality.
Yeah, that everyone is addicted to. It's some kind of metaphor for like your Twitter, Facebook, social media, the platform you might be watching this on right now. And apparently, spoiler alert, her brother controls all of this through his mind. He's not dead. He's some kind
somehow in a robot, and also
he's Robot
everyone's
Jesus.
mind and all the he's Robot Jesus.
Yep. So
That's
Millie
who he
Bobby
is.
Brown pretends to be a teenager and joins up with grown man Chris Pratt wearing the clothes of like a backup singer from the 80s.
I think that's the wardrobe that they had left over from the Dirt.
Who
You remember the
hell
Motley Crue?
did the wardrobe for this?
You remember
thing?
the Motley Crue Netflix
Yes.
movie, The
Yeah.
Dirt? I feel like they just used the same sets and wardrobe.
This is not the only movie I saw that we're going to talk about in this podcast that had absolutely god-awful wardrobe. But I didn't get this one.
Yeah, I like that
It
NASCAR
just
jacket.
did not... dude, Jesus.
I like that NASCAR jacket.
I'm not... nothing about this... The human portions of this movie did this for me.
Yeah.
Right? None of this hits any of the marks. I will say the animation in this is outstanding.
It's great.
I think that's
This is
where
my
your
favorite part.
$300 million went, was
I hope.
these robots.
I hope.
Yeah, and assembling a cast of people to phone this one in. How about that?
Yeah.
Oh, man. So we get Chris Pratt just hamming it up and doing a whole lot of, not a lot.
Star-Lord.
We get Stanley Tucci doing a pretty tame Steve Jobs. We get Ke Huy Quan for all about, 10 minutes?
Yeah, he's in, one flashback scene, and then he just comes in the final act for no reason other than all the heroes need to get together. That's it. Every movie that we see, except for one, has been final act. We just gotta get everyone in the same area together.
How do
they
we
all gotta interact.
All the people together somehow, some way, maybe. I don't even really
There's no
remember
need for
exactly
it.
how that happened.
There was no need for him to be there.
I stopped caring about this
Yeah.
movie as soon as Stanley Tucci puts what, did he shoot him with an arrow or some shit? He kills Ke Huy Quan, and
I
so
don't
at
even
that
remember.
point I made a sketch of Ke Huy Quan, and that was how I enjoyed my time during this movie.
Yeah.
So
It was again very visually impressive with the shots that they had. When they would cut away from that to show Millie Bobby Brown just staring at her comatose brother, did not care.
no,
Did not care.
didn't care.
Yeah.
No, and how about the kid? How about the brother?
Annoying.
Oh my god.
Oh
my god.
The
So
best choice
that
they
was
made
how I
was
knew I
having
was
him
going to
not
hate
in the
this movie.
Yeah.
I was trying to be open-minded. I go into it and I'm saying, you know what? I don't know if this looks like it's necessarily my kind of movie, but hey, they spent a whole bunch of money on this. Got a star-studded cast. This might be something. And about 2 minutes into this, that kid opens his mouth and I just went, oh no.
Yeah.
I am probably not going to enjoy this, am I? And just about any time that kid opened his mouth for the rest of the movie, this was not a great
Rough.
time. I don't. I did not enjoy him.
You know, in all the flashbacks, it looks like it took place a couple hours before.
Literally,
They're supposed to be years. Like, they didn't do any makeup, hair, any de-aging technology.
Millie's
You
supposed to be a teenager.
$320 million. And you can just, I don't know, tie her hair into pigtails, anything. Any of the characters look younger? No. They filmed it all simultaneously. They might as well have been just talking about, hey, you remember that time when you told me this and I told you, like, it takes place in the present time.
Yeah, I found it impossible to accept that Millie Bobby Brown is supposed to be like a high school senior or freshman in college or whatever.
Well, also
flashback
25.
Obviously 25.
Yeah.
That was again, and it all goes back to the costume design and the script. I don't think this was necessarily a strong concept to begin with. I was not a fan.
Would you invest more money to flesh out the concept?
No.
That's why.
No,
it's an Avatar scenario. You
think
spend all the money on visuals, you got nothing left for the actual story.
I think, unfortunately, all those other things that they put into this
Yeah.
to try to do this high concept sci-fi allegory to modern times thing were so horribly flawed that there was no way to solve this thing unless, hey, let's rewrite it, recast it, hire new costume designers, new sound designers, and maybe keep the same animation team, or try to find some ones who could make it as good not $300 million.
The story itself was so heavy-handed in its allegory of civil rights. I mean, every time a robot is on screen, they have to be telling a story about how it's essentially just, look at us. We are trying to be civil rights activists. It doesn't work at all. It completely minimizes the real experiences that people have had in their struggle for equality. And I felt like it sort of cheaped out, whereas they could have just gone with the simpler story or moved away from that. You know, you could still allude to it, but it doesn't need to be every scene that a robot is in for them to be talking about their rights like that. It felt cheap.
When you
felt cheap.
Try to push the message so repetitively
Right.
over and over and over again through a 2-hour plus runtime. At the end of it, people do get tired of hearing the same thing over and over and over again, even if it's not a bad thing.
Right.
So
yeah, great message. It's just, how are you getting it across?
Right.
I'd look for
delivery is just as important as the message itself sometimes.
Exactly. The opposite of this movie, I'd say, is District 9.
Yes.
$9 million budget, I believe. $9 million.
A far superior finished
Amazing
product.
visuals still. Great story. It doesn't hit you over the head with everything. So, yeah.
Now I'm going to watch that.
District 9, great movie.
I haven't seen that in a couple of years. That's a good one.
16 years old?
Yeah.
Could drive.
And still stands up right now, man.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We were in a stage of stagnation, I think, for a little bit. And I will say that between 2 out of 3 movies I saw this week, animation is possibly making leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
For a while there, we were kind of stagnated because I could watch a movie from 16 years ago and it would look fine.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings still looks like $1 million, man.
Yeah.
Like the CGI work in that still looks
The Hobbit,
great.
though.
The Hobbit. Yeah.
Clear step down.
We don't even talk about The Hobbit. They
Yeah.
never happened. None of those movies exist, and they will maybe never be made or be made better, hopefully, by real life
It's a series
professionals.
of books.
It's a series of books written by J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yep.
Those films don't exist. Erase them from your memory. Never happened.
All right. What else we see?
So yeah, magazine. What else? What else did we see? Yeah.
Well, you saw something.
I think we're done with. I think we're done with the Electric State.
We've invested enough into the Electric State.
The time watching the movie, the time prepping.
Put it on as background noise. That's as good as it'll get.
I don't waste your time with that one. There's 2 better movies on this list that you really should spend your time seeing. So, of course, I had to go see Snow White. And for those of you who saw my Just the Tip, you know my general feelings on this movie. But for those of you who didn't, let me spoil this for you. It's fine, okay? There's been a lot of discourse over the past 2 years over this movie. Mostly stemming from a lot of
leaked
comments.
images, right?
There was the leaked
Yeah.
images of kind of this mixed race group of
Married group
people,
of- Yeah.
and a lot of people were thinking that was the dwarves, and there was all the social commentary that comes with casting, traditionally like white magical dwarf creatures as
Yeah, they're real.
Race group of people of different sizes and backgrounds.
Yeah.
Because that's
They're real.
really
They
important.
need to be represented.
Those
the dwarves
okay, so
are
there
real.
is that, right? There was also the comments
Yeah.
from Peter Dinklage, talking about potentially being offended by the dwarves, right? I personally don't think. I would be curious to maybe speak to some of these people whether or not other little actors in
Yes.
Hollywood were, of the
Denied.
same sentiment,
Yeah.
or was a more of that's 7 jobs for
I got
7
mine.
people.
Yeah, I got mine. The rest of you can go figure it out.
I didn't get quite as involved in any of that sort of controversy.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we all know the comments made by Rachel Zegler about this movie and about Prince Charming and about Snow White being a strong, independent woman and not needing no man, and and how we might just take Prince Charming out of the movie. And
how many premieres did they have to delay
cancel or delay
Yeah.
or remove it? Yeah, I mean, they canceled the main premiere for this movie. So, guys, it's fine. It's fine. I promise. I swear to God, this movie is fine. All right? I am a 30-year-old man who is not necessarily fond of Snow White, although I did play the magic mirror in production of Snow White.
Should have applied to be the one.
I believe it was high school, but it might have been junior high. I don't know. I'm old and I don't remember. But I do know I played the magic mirror. At one point, I had to carry around a big picture frame for hours during rehearsal. So,
did you do method acting with that? Did you carry it
do I
around?
do meth
with you?
and acting? Yes, I do meth and acting.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Meth and acting.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Great.
No, I don't know how much method there is, but I did let a lot of girls look at me and stare into me deeply.
Well, that's great.
I
for
was
junior high or high
just
school.
had to get in the mode, find and tell them that they were either pretty or not pretty enough.
Pretty.
Yeah. So that was my method acting for that one. Tell her, you are not the fairest, man. There's about 87 other girls in
Turn
this
around.
school who are
Turn
prettier than you. No, but no, this movie is absolutely fine. I will admit I didn't really know much about Rachel Zegler's singing abilities. I haven't seen West Side Story, and I didn't see any of her YouTube videos. So I was blown away. I mean, you talk about a tremendous vocal performance. She did an outstanding job. I'm listening to these songs particularly. So Waiting on a Wish was awesome, right? She does a really great job. The animations in this thing are incredible. Some of these animals that she, apparently everybody can talk to these things. Apparently that's a thing. I thought it was just Snow White in the story, but apparently everybody
She's not
talks to these
special?
freaking
Okay.
squirrels, man. Like either the animals are super talented or everybody's magical. I have no idea, but I want to pet these things. Like I really wanted to see if I could pet some of these deer, man, because they looked lifelike. And it looked like they would be delicious. But no, it's fine. It's fine. This movie's fine. That being said, Gal Gadot. Awful. Oh my God. So I am not like a Gal Gadot hater. I know there's plenty of people, either for or against her for various reasons. I don't care. I've seen her in a few things. I've seen her in the Fast and Furious movies, which everybody's fine in those. It's fine, dude. It's fine. It's not a serious film. She did the Wonder Woman stuff, and I thought she was good in the first Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And she was okay in Batman vs Superman.
You see her in Shazam 2?
I don't watch Shazam. No.
Shazam 2, both of them were.
No.
Rachel Zegler was in.
I didn't watch I watched the first Shazam a few years after it came out and went, I'm never watching this again. So no, I did not watch Shazam 2. Zachary Levi, not the superhero for me. But yeah, Gal Gadot, man, I don't think I ever need to see her in a musical theater performance ever again. It was pretty rough.
Did she do her own singing?
You would think, maybe. I don't know. She's got a kind of pretty heavy accent in this.
Yeah.
It seems like maybe she just went with her own accent and exaggerated it.
Okay.
But the big problem was the auto-tune. I mean, there's a ridiculous amount of auto-tune when she's in it. It's like T-Pain, right?
Oh, no.
It is. Let me buy you a drink, baby. No, it is pretty rough.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, like, she sounds very T-Pain at some points. As well as, so, when in both the songs that she really features in, there's a lot of quickly jumping between these higher end of her range and the lower end of her range. And when she is in the lower end of her range, I really had a lot of trouble understanding what she was saying. I didn't have subtitles in my theater. And
she
was
doing
one
like
of those
a
scenarios
metal
where
performance, where she's growling like
almost. It might as well be a growl. Oh man,
I want to see sludge
I'm sitting
metal
here
Gal
shitting on a
Gadot.
woman who totally is more talented than me in singing, but really when you have Rachel Zegler in this film singing her heart out and sounding fantastic, and then you have Gal Gadot in here sounding like T-Pain after Taco Tuesday. Having kind of a rough time.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about the plot on this one. It opens with Snow White as a child, and so it's a little odd. The society that they're living in it's a monarchy. Her mom and dad are the queen and king, but they're all singing and dancing and singing these socialist communist songs about to each their own, or to each their means, and everybody owns everything, and everybody owns all the land, and I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, okay, hey, wait a minute, so this is
it's a fairy
portraying
tale.
This right,
it's a fairy tale. Come on.
Okay, hold on, this is for children, right? We can't be giving children the wrong idea, right? But I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, so this is supposed to be a monarchy. And, but then they're singing all this socialist commie stuff, and but in typical socialist commie fashion, those that king and queen are dripping. They are dripping, man. And living in this super fine castle.
Got like a 24-horse carriage.
Yeah, and the peasants do seem very, very happy to be peasants under them. So, I mean, that's good.
Whistle while you work, right?
Yep.
Yeah, whistle while you work.
Absolutely. I believe the first 5 minutes of this movie were brought to you by the CCP, and so there's that.
Your social credits just went up.
Oh yeah, right. Hey, 50 points to China. I love it. Anyway, the mom dies. Evil Queen shows up. She marries the dad. The dad goes off to war. He never comes back. Evil Queen takes control, locks Snow White in the castle, and this is where she starts talking to these animals. And
from the castle.
Yeah, she's like in the castle, like talking,
yelling out the window.
She's talking to birds and shit. Which is here's the maybe the secret twist of this movie. Maybe she just lost her mind and none of this actually happened. Who knows?
That'd be interesting.
But yeah, and then you find out later in the movie, like, everybody is talking to these birds. So this this was not special. Everybody's talking to these things, right? So, anyway, Snow White, while she's locked up in the castle and cleaning and doing I guess like handmaiden stuffs, she meets Jonathan, who is like the Prince Charming guy-ish sort of thing in this, and he's like stealing some food. Eventually he gets caught, right, and the queen ties him to the castle gate as punishment, even though Snow White protests a little bit about it and says, the punishment has to fit the crime, and it doesn't fit the crime, right? There's a lot of that in this thing. And there's a scene where they're, Snow White is in the room with Gal Gadot as the evil queen, while Gal Gadot is eating some food and doing her absolute best Lord Denethor impression.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh man, I think she's eating a chicken or a squab or something, and just cracking through these bones, man. She's just taking this bird and just breaking it in half, just you know. Yeah,
Snow White's friend. That was one of the birds that she talks to. She's picking it apart.
That was delicious. It really was. I bet.
Had a name.
Yeah, and so then Snow White decides she's gonna free this guy and face the punishment, and then she sings "Waiting on a Wish," and it was awesome. It was great. Oh my God, she's super talented. Very cool, very cool. Although it so. I was hoping that maybe this trend would not continue throughout the rest of the movie, but one thing I have noticed is every time Rachel Zegler is singing a song, there's all these very long, drawn-out shots of her face, zoomed up, just a shoulder-up shot, right? And we'll linger there for 30, 45 seconds on just her face. We're not seeing anything that was happening around her.
I think I know why.
Yeah?
I think I know why.
Let us know, Tim.
So, if you paid attention to any of the controversy, I paid attention to very little of it. But I do know that the CGI process for this movie was rough. So saving 45 seconds of animating 7+ characters, that's pretty reasonable for a movie to make that call. So call it artistic direction if you want, but I feel like it was just money saving, and why not? It's their money. Hey, go for it.
Certainly could be. The stuff they decide to keep, I think, for the most part, looks great. There are some wacky things we'll get into here. Yeah, but that kind of continues, and that does make sense.
Yeah.
Try to save some money and just
especially with all the choreography, it's a lot to track.
Things could go wrong.
A lot to track.
Somebody could leave a Starbucks cup sitting out or something. You never know. Just like in the Snow White and the Huntsman version, the Queen sends the huntsman with Snow White into the woods, and he's supposed to murder her, and of course he doesn't, because otherwise we wouldn't have this 2-hour movie, right?
Yeah.
So then we get an interesting thing that happens a few times in this movie. So there's several versions and tones of this story that seem to be spliced together throughout this film. At several different points we feel like we're in a different movie. The intro is an entirely different universe than the scenes in the castle, and then that
it's just a scene from Seinfeld.
Yeah, and then that ends up being an entirely different universe than this weird evil forest scene that Snow White goes through after fleeing the huntsman, which then immediately transitions into a completely different universe of, like her fantasy forest where her cottage is and all that sort of stuff. But this evil forest scene when she is fleeing the huntsman. So, do you remember when you were, when we were growing up, late 90s, early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
You would see these shows on maybe a Disney or maybe like a Nickelodeon or something, but it would be a live action, right? And they'd have some set that was supposed to look like a jungle. So there's all these kind of like vines or fake trees and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So she stumbles on for a few minutes into this weird evil forest that is partially some weird CGI branches. But a lot of the background landscape looks like this weird cheap 90s kids game show theater set, right? So then that is jarring compared to the fantasy castle that we were living in just a few minutes ago.
What was the show on Nickelodeon with the jungle and the pyramid?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
I can't think of the
literally
name of
the exact show I'm thinking of, and I can't.
Legends of the Secrets of the Pyramid.
Okay, well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
We do have a Google. What was the show with the pyramid and
Nickelodeon
game show? Nickelodeon. All right, let's see.
Not Pyramid. That's not the name of it.
It's definitely not Pyramid. Legends of the Hidden
Temple.
The Olmec
Yes.
Temple, yes.
Yes,
Oh
they just used
my
the set
gosh.
from Legends of the
Literally,
Hidden Temple.
that's exactly what it looked like. I am sitting here like, hey, wait a minute. I recognize this.
I know how to get past that.
Right. So that happened, right? Which then immediately transitions into the like fantasy world where her cottage is, and she meets these animals, right? She meets this deer first off, which literally I could reach out and touch this thing. It looks real.
You could if you were alone in the theater.
I was alone. I don't know if anyone would have stopped me, But no, it does look like real life. So as I said, I mean, I feel just based off of the few things that we've seen this year that have this kind of animation quality that maybe we are entering a different era of animation. I'm hopeful for that. That looks really cool.
Better Man.
With the Robbie
Williams.
Yes.
Chimp?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I love chimps.
Yeah.
But,
We are. I really think we're getting there. I really think that maybe
crossed.
in the next decade we are going to really see
a breakthrough.
Some huge breakthroughs in
the
animation.
Planet of the Apes movies, I feel like, have done that every single movie.
Yeah.
We've had 4 now, and each one just looks that much better than the last. So
it's kind of like how you used to see like old Call of Duty games. And
Yes.
stuff. It was like, oh man, there's this one and that would look kind of cool at the time. Oh, and then this one came out and it looked way better.
The WWE games on PlayStation 2 that went from basically 8-bit to
back when video games got improved.
Yeah,
and they didn't just get re-downloaded.
$60, $70 now.
And that's just for the ability to
DLC.
unlock the game. That's no DLC. That's not like any of the pay-to-win gear or any of that stuff.
Sorry, no loot boxes for you.
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
So anyway, she's in the forest. The dwarves show up, and the dwarves look fine. Y'all were so mad. But the dwarves look fine. I mean, other than Dopey. I mean, he looks fine. But he's completely different from the other dwarves. So all these dwarves have this kind of rounded face, like a cartoon shape, And then I mean, I know he looks a little bit different in the cartoon animated one, right? He's got a much smaller face than the other ones. He has these big jowls and stuff, but it does look really weird. Like he's an entirely different creature.
Is he the one who looks like the kid from...
Yeah, he looks like a little kid.
He looks like Dewey.
Yeah.
From Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah. He looks like Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle.
Gross.
Yeah, and I get it, but man, it's odd. You just like, are you a whole different? You're just a whole different species, So there's that, right? It don't look that bad. It's fine. You cut to Gal Gadot doing All Is Fair, and it's awful. There's way too much auto-tune. I still can't understand her low notes, and then we get to have Whistle While You Work, sung by some dwarves, and it's mid. It's very mid. I didn't really have a whole lot of notes on it because it was, I have seen a play before. This was fine, right? Snow White, ends up leaving the dwarves because the plot has to move on, and she meets these bandits in the woods, which is the assorted mixed race cast of characters that everybody got so mad about, and they're led by Jonathan, her Prince Charming criminal bandit guy, and we're now in our 4th different movie so far, 4th or 5th. The Queen's soldiers then show up. They have a little skirmish. Jonathan gets an arrow in his shoulder. Snow White brings him back to the Dr. Dwarf, who works on him for like 30 seconds.
Dr. Dwarf?
Yeah, his name's Doc, but then he says he's like a doctor in like
school.
igneous sciences or something.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, he doesn't know anything about anything. But yeah, he's just like magically fine. Like he takes an arrow pretty close to the heart, and he's fine. He's just he's good, bro.
Maybe he's Novocaine.
Good. He's not a sling, not a bandage. He's absolutely.
Yeah.
He was dying
It's
2 minutes ago.
impossible to stop.
Yeah. No, he's fine. He's fine. It's a Disney movie. We can't kill this guy. They do a hand meets a hand. It's fantastic. Prince Charming guy's got some pipes on him too. That's cool. This guy, unfortunately, while he can sing, he cannot evade capture because he's
Probably because he's singing.
picked up again, baby.
Sing when you're trying to hide.
Career criminal over
He
here.
hasn't learned anything.
Yeah. So the queen catches him. She sings Fairest of All, and Gal Gadot is still awful, guys. That never gets any better throughout the movie. Then we get the part where the evil queen turns into the creepy old lady, which, okay.
Why?
So hold on.
Yeah.
So I get it in the cartoon, okay, so Snow White she's the fairest of them all, and she's so nice, and yeah, this old lady looks horrifying, but she's gonna take this gift because why not, And then she takes the apple and immediately bites it, and she falls asleep and all that stuff. So no, because I'm not a fucking idiot. No, I would, no, hell no. I would have knocked this lady on her ass and sent her on her way. I would have called my fucking wild boar friends to pick her apart. Get this peasant out of my woods. I'm a princess, right? Get out of here. You're obviously an assassin. No. No, she is so creepy. This old lady is so
like
freakishly weird.
Just hunched over?
No. I mean, I think if you bring small children to this, they might be offended. they might cry.
Get ready, theater managers. You're going to have some crying kids.
There's a few moments in this that I don't think are really all that suitable for kids. But this being one of them, she's super creepy. And of course, she just walks up, she says all this creepy ass shit. She sounds like Gal Gadot. She gives her the apple, and then Snow White immediately bites into it and goes into her little medically induced coma.
You've never been hungry before?
Not for a poisoned apple from a freakish old woman who sounds like my mortal enemy.
She didn't tell her, here's this poisoned apple. Enjoy it.
I may be an idiot, but I am not that stupid.
You're a different kind of idiot.
Different kind of idiot. And
an idiot who survives.
The idiot who starts a podcast and has to watch movies and write about them. Yeah. No, but, okay. This lady is so fucking creepy. This is going to kill the Apple industry for 10 years.
Wow.
She's so, prediction. No, I mean, because see, here's the thing, right? So you're going to bring small children, and they're impressionable. Yeah. If I was this 5-year-old kid, I mean, you take me to Snow White, right? And I'm like, oh, this is Snow White. This is my hero, right? This little girl, And I see this creepy old lady give this perfect-looking apple to my hero.
How does the apple look? Does it look
looks fantastic.
Okay.
No, it looks perfect. It looks like the ideal apple you might get at the supermarket. And this creepy old lady goes through this horrifying, after giving the apple to Snow White. Yeah. Then, I don't think I'm ever going to buy an apple again in my fucking life.
How did Apple sales fare after the original cartoon? Do you think Apple sales
I think Apple's were probably fine. But that's a cartoon,
True.
She just looks like a funny little witch in that one. This one, it's like, oh, hell no, Gollum, get away from me. Oh, she's horrifying. So all that happens, and I was really glad when it was over. Jonathan then is freed by all these. Again, everybody can talk to these critters. So the animals, before Snow White even bites the apple, automatically know what this is, and instead of warning Snow White, they just race straight off to the dwarves to go tell them, oh hey, Jonathan got captured, and Snow White's doing this, and so we gotta
overdosing on an apple.
We gotta go free Jonathan. So the critters and the dwarves free Jonathan. They goes over and he kisses Snow White in the creepiest way. It's just so creepy. I really didn't.
Tongue first.
I didn't enjoy it.
Right
well, okay. That's after. That's after. So he does this really creepy kiss, and then. I mean, it's built up that they're gonna maybe be a thing, but it's not we're gonna be intimate, right? And so he kisses her, and she wakes up, and then the tongue happens.
Oh,
and then they all of a sudden they're madly in love and passionate, And I'm like, okay, I don't know if I'm into this, So we get this again. So another thing I didn't like happens, right? Then we get Snow White Returns, and it's another, just series of long montages of Rachel Zegler's face, singing, staring at the camera, because heaven forbid we show you what happened around it.
Yep.
They, confront the queen. The queen's got all her soldiers, and the soldiers just decide, hey, you know what, I've had enough of her crap. I think we're just gonna
go
go back to the way there's literally a coup. There's a coup. There's a coup.
And killer?
I will say, I was kind of paying attention to this. So in all of the scenes where the soldiers are the explicit bad guys, every single one of them is Caucasian.
Okay.
And then you get to this scene where there's a coup, and all of a sudden they're just as mixed race, multi-ethnic as every other cast of characters in this movie. So I don't know what that was all about.
That was not deliberate.
I don't know. It would never be deliberate. I don't know. It would never. I would never say those things. I have no idea. But yeah. And so anyway, so all that happens. They have the coup. Snow White follows the queen into the castle, and they have their final confrontation. And I did make a note that for some reason the scepter that Gal Gadot carries looks exactly like a butt plug plastered onto a stick. So,
like I said,
it's
they have
probably
budget issues.
That's why she's such a pain in the ass. Hey,
you were waiting for that one.
Oh man, I was saving.
Is that in your notes?
No.
No.
I
thought you were holding on to that
one. So the queen has a mental breakdown, breaks the mirror, and Snow White's the queen, and everything's fine. Yeah.
Right,
and then we're treated to our second edition of maybe the flamingest narrator I've ever heard in a movie. It was odd. It was odd. I've never heard a narrator with such a lisp and a flair.
Okay.
Well, that was an odd flavor in the movie. Maybe wouldn't be my narrator. I'm more of a Morgan Freeman guy myself. But all right,
Yeah.
So that was Snow White. It was fine.
David Attenborough with all the animals.
David Attenborough with all those animals. That would have been clever. That would have been clever.
Sense.
And I understand why maybe you picked this particular flavor of narrator. And hey, it's not like I have anything against him. Hey, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But it was just out of, I don't know. It just
didn't fit the rest of the movie.
No, because no one else is talking like that in the entire movie.
Does anyone else talk like Gal Gadot in the entire movie?
No one else has a heavy Middle Eastern
voices.
accent.
Some people got voices.
I don't know.
It's
Well, that's what casting directors are for.
Right.
I didn't understand any of that. But yeah, so that was Snow White, and I think again, if you're super into Snow White, well, check it out. Give them some money. Why not? People like money. But if you're kind of mid on this movie, just wait, stream it. I'm sure it'll be on Disney Plus in a few months.
Yeah.
So, it'll be fine. I promise. And don't, let whatever the mainstream critics are telling you about this ruin your opinion before you go see it. Because really,
fast forward the evil queen.
Yeah, if Gal Gadot is singing, that's probably a great time to go use the restroom or refill your drink or just
turn off your computer.
Turn off. Do anything else.
Yeah.
Anything else, literally.
Yeah.
Watch watch one of our videos. That's probably better spending of your time.
That is a much better.
You could watch episode 1 and this episode, and it'd probably be about the same runtime. So be fine.
Damn. It was that bad.
It's 124 minutes. It's a long one.
Okay.
Our next movie, our final movie, the good one, is also 124 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. So. We're going to talk about magazine dreams.
Got some admin before, though.
Right. So I want to put a bit of a disclaimer on this. I want to address the elephant in the room, right? So in December of 2023, Jonathan Majors was convicted of 2 misdemeanors, one in assault in the 3rd degree, one being harassment. This all stemmed from an event that took place in March of 2023 involving Majors and his then-girlfriend, Grace Jabari. Majors was convicted. He was ordered to and is attending 52 weeks of domestic violence intervention program and probation. In the time since, has also started a relationship with Megan Good, and they are now married, actually, as of this week.
Congrats.
Congrats. Congrats. Yeah. This is not the first allegation. He has had several in the past, and actually, as of this week, an audio tape was released of him as well, and another allegation has surfaced.
Do you feel that was deliberate timing with the release of...
I don't want to speculate at all. But I think everyone can have their own opinion on that, but
Yeah.
certainly the timing is interesting. That is some very interesting timing.
Convenient or inconvenient, depending on how you look at things.
Sure.
But yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Interesting.
Majors is now attempting to revive his career, starting with Magazine Dreams 2025. This was originally slated to release in December of 2023.
Yes.
However, when the allegations came to light, he was dropped by Disney and Searchlight.
Yep.
The film was then picked up in October of 24 by Briarcliff Entertainment and scheduled for this March 2025 release.
Yes.
So far, gathering immense critical acclaim. This was
Warranted.
I believe so.
Yes.
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 This was warranted. This is an incredible film. This was the most packed theater that I had, which, a packed theater these days is maybe 10 other folks, you know. But as someone who is pretty used to seeing movies, a lot of the times I'm the only person in the theater. And it's not just because I review movies. I don't, always buy a ticket with the explicit, hey, I'm here to review, right?
Yeah.
So it was good to see plenty of people giving this their time, right?
Yep.
It's directed by Elijah Bynam. It's got a budget of $8 million. Do we want to get into some plot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go for it.
I'm going to let you take it off.
All right. So the film opens up with Jonathan Majors playing the. He's not really a hero, is he? The main character, Killian Maddox. He's an amateur bodybuilder, looking to go big and become a
IFBB
pro circuit competitor.
Bodybuilding.
He wants to be on the magazines. He wants to have shows for himself. He
wants someone to remember his name.
Yes, that's the whole thing is about him leaving a legacy.
Yeah.
And it's entirely based around only bodybuilding. Nothing else that he does he feels will affect his life or the quality of his legacy. Only the bodybuilding.
Right.
So that gives you an insight into his psyche on the decisions that he makes going forward. Being good or not, I feel it's a good mirror to Jonathan Majors' personal life.
I did feel that as I'm watching this, I'm watching not only the character on screen going through his own traumas and trying to rebuild himself throughout this film.
Trying and failing.
I'm watching the man playing this character also going through a very similar struggle.
Yeah.
And I think that he brings a lot of that to this movie.
Yes.
Along being a amateur pro bodybuilder, he takes care of his aging grandfather, who is a Vietnam veteran who society has pretty much kind of left behind.
Neglected.
That's a reoccurring theme in this movie.
Yeah.
Feelings of societal neglect, institutional racism.
Wasted effort.
Wasted effort, wasted potential, I guess,
There's a few lines that dictate essentially just the fact that he's in a food island. He's in a neighborhood where he's got to drive, 6 miles, 8 miles?
Yep.
To go and shop for groceries.
Yep.
Says that the rest of the food around him is just junk food, which when you're consuming as many calories as Killian Maddox, you are going to need a lot of chicken.
Oh man, when he's at restaurants or buying groceries in this thing,
he orders 6 entrees?
Yeah.
Before ordering more.
Right.
His love interest is
I wouldn't even know if I'd call her a love interest. She's
for him.
I guess
a love interest. He's got an infatuation with Haley Bennett, right?
Yeah.
Haley Bennett?
Yeah, I believe it's Haley Bennett.
Okay.
Yeah. She was
in Hardcore Henry. She plays her character well for the brief time that she has.
10 or 15 minutes she's on screen.
And you know what? I don't feel like she was needed for any more scenes. I wouldn't have
I thought
wouldn't
it
have
was an
needed
interesting
more.
choice to not use her more than they did.
See, but I feel like their storyline sort of wrapped up well at the culmination of where it ends up.
I don't think
feel
that
like
it doesn't.
wasn't-
It was a very interesting direction. It's not exactly what I...
Okay.
It subverted my expectation of how
Yeah.
films are so formulaically laid out now.
See, to me, it did the same thing, but pleasantly.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
I would have.
No,
yeah.
no, I'm not. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
disagreeing.
I thought you
with
wanted
No, I'm just
more,
saying that
and
I
I'm
was
like,
like,
oh, I feel like it
when
was
I
fine.
never saw her again, I was
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys took that swing, huh? Okay, cool, great. And it was fine. I didn't need her. She was great though.
She was great. Yeah, that whole storyline. So going into this, I did not watch any trailers. I did not watch any previews for it. I just went in blind, and you know, it took a few left turns, but I was on board the whole time.
Yeah.
I never felt like, oh come on, why are we doing this? It was earned. It was earned in the tonal shifts. It was earned in the changes of pace that are going on. I felt like it told a story that might as well have been true. And, you know, I'm sure it is. You know, I mentioned in the Just a Tip interview that it feels like Delray Misfits meets Taxi Driver.
I haven't seen Delray Misfits.
Delray Misfits. It's not a movie, so it's a group of bodybuilders working out of Delray Beach, Florida.
Okay.
Very colorful cast of characters there. So,
okay.
Yeah, those of you who are aware, you would understand completely what I mean. Those of you who are not, get ready to dictate about 3 weeks of your life just to understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's he's clearly not mentally stable throughout the whole movie. So
this is Killian.
Yeah.
Jonathan Major's character.
They open up the first actual dialogue in the movie is his state.
It's got a
section
court-ordered
therapy
sessions with a therapist played by Harriet Harris, who's playing her exact same character from The Agency. For those of you who've seen that, it's fantastic. It's her that he rants about the grocery deserts in the neighborhood. We I had to make a note in my notes about we get this weird little shot of him drinking milk and watching pornography.
Yeah,
and
we get a couple weird.
It's an excellent shot.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic choice, sir. Yeah, absolutely. That's how I like doing it.
Yeah, they go over his therapist, played by Harriet Harris, goes over some threats that he made to a staff at a hospital, I believe. So they don't go into why he was in the hospital, but the threat that he made was, I will bash your brains open and drink your brains like soup.
Split your skull, bash your head in, and what is it? I'll split your skull open and drink your brains like soup.
And he makes that threat a couple of times in the movie, and it just kills, dude. Every time I'm like, dude, he's saying it in a way that it feels so convincing that this is something that he would absolutely have said.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you come across, every once in a while you'll come across someone who's just crazy, right? You can tell right away, like, okay,
this is obviously
this
a man with
guy's
some
not
mental
right.
illness.
Yeah, and this is he plays that very well. So he goes through a lot of the first act is him working out, taking steroids, doing some bumps of cocaine, just living it up.
But he's killing himself for the craft. I mean,
it's
tortured artists aren't always using a paintbrush.
Healthy method of achieving his dream of stardom.
Yep.
Which very common in bodybuilding. A lot of these guys who are doing physique competitions are not doing things because they're healthy.
Right.
They're doing them because of the aesthetics. So that's a flowing theme in this.
Yep.
Yeah.
He does after we get our little milk and pornography and some workouts, he does perform in a competition. It's the first time we get to see him compete.
Yep.
He is obviously a bit smaller than the other competitors, and so to compensate, he does these really over the top poses that He almost looked painful.
Yeah.
You know, he's grimacing and growling as he's trying to do
Everything's
these poses.
big
It's all
movements
jerky.
and they're doing this and like fighting with their elbows.
Elbow fighting with the guy next to him. You know, he ends up finishing 6th in
Not
the competition. Bad. Not horrible. At least it wasn't 7th.
Out of 6.
You know. The next scene, he goes to a grocery store that he works at. There's a scene here where he gets to the grocery store where we start to see maybe a little bit of the implied racism that he faces throughout his life.
Yep.
There's an elderly white woman at the meat counter where he's standing, and when she sees him, her purse is on the arm next to him, and she sees him and has to move it to the other arm.
Very sly.
Yep, yeah. and
Not
looking
at
at him the whole time. And he does apologize to her, but she walks away, which I don't think he had to apologize to her. I think that's her problem, not his. Then on his way out of the grocery store, he sees this blonde girl that works at the cashier, and obviously, you know, he's infatuated with this girl, Haley Bennett, Dollar Store J-Law.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, every time I see her, that's I have to do a double check. Like, hey, wait a minute, is that Jennifer Lawrence or is no, it's Dollar Store J.
No, that's Strawberry Blonde. All right, you're good.
Yeah. He like hems and haws about asking her out, and he literally goes up there. He does this like awkward fumbling, asking her out, and then he's you know what, this was a bad idea, and he runs away.
Runs out.
You know?
Yeah.
And we get Killian filming a fitness video.
Yeah.
And
He's starting a YouTube channel.
Yep.
He's going to be part of our series. We're going to go over entertainment reviews.
We're actually having him on for an interview next week.
Yeah.
Killian Maddox.
Killian Maddox.
Yeah. Not Jonathan Majors, no.
No,
he's a little busy, but
he's
Killian had the time.
We could invite Megan Good, too.
We could invite Megan
Let's
Good.
do it.
Yeah. If you're listening. Yeah. You guys should come on the show. That'd be great. During the filming, this shot was actually in some promotional materials. He starts having this ab pain, clutches his stomach, and he falls over. And he actually, man, this is one of those scenes that made me squirm. He gets up and he keeps shooting.
Yeah.
Keeps filming the video, and you can tell he's
in a lot of pain.
A lot of pain, man. Yeah. And he gets up and he finishes filming, and he posts the video, and the people just rip him, dude. Like, they just rip him.
Worse than our YouTube comments.
Oh, yeah, our whole zero? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, at the time of posting it.
You know what? I'd rather get death threats.
Right. I'd rather have death threats.
Come on, guys. Show me what you got.
No press is bad press, baby.
I will call the cops.
Oh, my gosh, no. But yeah, man, he gets eaten alive, which, sucks, dude, because, I must say that's
point, you
the
like
unrealistic.
him, right?
Well,
at this point, you don't hate him.
I know he's got some problems. Yeah. I'm rooting for him. But I must say, as an amateur YouTuber myself, dude, how do you get all these comments so fast? How did
everyone? He found
that thing
a way.
Got traction, man.
Yeah. He found the community right away, and they hated him.
They hated him. They despised him. Yes. They were hate watching his shit, dude. Yep. Oh my god! But no, I mean,
that happens again later too. It
does.
So
they eat this kid alive on the internet. Yeah. This whole movie, it's so sad. But no, I mean, if you wanna shit on me in the comments, I mean, that's fine.
Not me. Just all.
I'll take it. I love it. Give it to me. Give it to me rough. Please. Oh my gosh.
So he just compensates for that by doing more steroids, more coke, and working out harder. That's how I fucking
do it, dude. You have a bad day at work, man. It's like, hey, give me that trend and that crack, bro. Let's do it.
Let me get to the gym. So they cut from his, hardcore gym screaming and spitting on all the equipment to him taking care of a problem that his grandpa incurred, where the grandpa had hired a local hardware store.
Yeah, George and Sons hardware store
to paint his house, and they did a very poor job. So he's calling them.
Maybe
asking
there's
them,
like paint deserts in the ghetto too, but I probably wouldn't be my first choice of people
I'm
to
not
call.
a painter.
I don't know anything about painting.
George and Sons, just, I don't like the name George.
All I know is like Sherwin-Williams and stuff.
Yeah, Bear.
Bear.
Yeah, he calls this company. Maybe they had a good price. They only did half a coat. So
that's why they had a good price.
He wanted them to come back, and they refused. They immediately got aggressive over the phone. And so that's where you hear him retort that threat again. I won't bash your brain open and drink your brains like soup. They hang up on him. A reasonable thing to do when someone threatens to do that. So he drives over there, bangs on the door a bunch, smashes their window display, and proceeds to crash.
Yep.
So
yeah, he gets pretty kind of messes himself up in that.
Dives headfirst through so many windows. I'm like,
he's pretty bloody and gets in the car and passes out. Wakes up in the hospital. Doctor tells him, do you know these drugs you're doing? Like, we know you're doing these drugs, and they are gonna kill you. And tells him that he's got tumors on his liver, but Killian refuses the surgery because
can't have scars.
Bodybuilders can't have scars.
Can't have scars. It's not pretty.
So he sneaks out of the hospital and does more drugs and works out.
Yeah. Well, the doctor didn't tell him not to.
He
didn't say.
He just said it was
give him a timeline on anything.
Right,
he just said that he wanted to get him in for surgery as soon as possible.
As soon as possible. Once it was 100 magazine covers, then we'll talk. Right?
Yeah. In the meantime, he Googles, how do you make people like you?
Gosh, dude, his Google searches in this just broke my heart.
Yeah. Someone's got
broke my heart, man. There's a few Google searches he does in here that just like, I mean, how do you make people like you? Like, how do you get to that point?
Desperation.
As a grown man, you know, where you are that lonely, that isolated, that desperate, where like he's literally Googling, how do I make people like me? Like, that's rough, man. And you know, that kind of loneliness and isolation is rough, and that's something that a lot of people go through. It's a lot of people that have experienced feelings like that, right? And especially, it just breaks your heart, man.
Juxtaposed with the conversations he has with his grandfather, where his grandfather's giving him you're a strong man, you don't rely on anyone.
Part of
you
the
don't
champion.
Need, you know,
life isn't supposed to be
toxic
fair.
Masculinity, I suppose.
Just
sort of telling him, no, you're good. You're not like the other freeloading and, you know, emotional and this. And so he's doing more harm than good to Killian at this point. You know, Killian could have used someone to, you know, confide in and talk with as a man, and he got the opposite. He got the talk that, okay, well, as a man, you're not supposed to need someone. You know.
Right, and I don't think that was the grandfather's intention, right? I think he was just trying to tell him that he was proud of him and how hard he works and all that sort of stuff.
I don't think the grandfather knows what's going on.
No,
he's
there's
got no idea.
That, you know, this is there's a lot going on for Killian.
Yeah.
The cashier.
Yeah.
Our Diet J-Law calls him. Goes, hey, I want to go on that date with you. You know. So they're gonna go on a date. Killian, you know, puts on his best tux and tie and all that sort of stuff, and picks her up, and they're gonna go on this date, right?
Listens to some death metal on the way.
Listens to some death metal on the way. Hell yeah, brother. And it does not go very well, right? Does not go very well.
Food doesn't even make the table yet.
No,
it's just
it's over before the food even gets there.
For Killian, he can't point out where it goes wrong. He does right before a server comes over. He gives her a glimpse into some of the trauma that he's faced, and
he tells her about his mom dying and his dad dying, and how his dad killed his mom
and then killed himself.
Yeah.
Now he lives with his grandpa, and Haley Bennett, her character. What was her character? Jessie dips out to the bathroom,
and she's squirming the whole time too. You know, he goes off on this like electric rant.
Oh,
just this
I forgot about this.
monologue about bodybuilding, and there's a
Leaving
line
a
in
legacy.
here, you have to do something big and important, otherwise no one will remember you when you're dead. And that line comes up multiple times through the movie. It's like his fixation.
Yes.
You know? And he goes in this big rant. Yeah, like you said, she goes to the bathroom and she's gone.
She's
right?
out.
We never see her again. She's gone. She's gone. It's over. And the hostess, waitresses, whatever, they come up to the table. Hey, your date wanted us to tell you that she, she had an emergency and she had to leave. And he, does this. So yeah,
she told me that.
Yeah, she told me that. Yeah.
When did she say that?
yeah, right. He goes along with it. So, he's just ordered all this like very specifically ordered protein, healthy food, right? All this stuff.
No glaze on the salmon.
No glaze. No
glaze.
So then. Says he's gonna make another order, and he orders just about every fatty and horrible thing on the menu.
They look
great.
Like,
oh god,
they look so good.
Oh man, it's making me hungry.
Let's go to Denny's. Let's go to Denny's. Come on.
Right? Oh man, I look really good. So he orders all this food, and then he throws it up afterwards. A little bit of purging off that stuff, and dude, that's rough. It's rough to see.
Yeah. So right after that. As if you can't handle any more heartbreak for the
Oh my
guy.
god, dude, this thing is just a avalanche, man. It just gets
He goes out to his car, he's got his jug of water, and as soon as he's
going to his
car,
competition too.
Yeah, he's about to drive to a competition. Get that motivation of rejection just to pump you up right before. And who shows up? The painters.
Yep.
Or at least his nephews. So they show up and kick the shit out of him.
They kick shit out of him. They break his arm.
With a bat.
Oh my gosh. It was a pipe. It was like a metal pipe.
Yeah. They beat the shit out of Killian. All
the muscles didn't really...
No, it doesn't really equate to much.
He holds his own for all of about like 10 seconds, but then...
it's three big guys.
4 big dudes. Just,
four?
Man, they lay into him real bad. And the whole thing is shot from inside the car, which I thought was really cool.
It's like a one take. They do that a few times. They do the one take.
It reminded me a lot of the movie Drive with Frank Grillo. I'm sorry, not Drive. Wheelman. Wheelman with Frank Grillo. You should check that out. That one is super cool. So little bit of a tangent. Wheelman. Wheelman, you should check that out. If you can find it, used to be on Netflix back in the day. It stars Frank Grillo. It is shot entirely from like the perspective of his car. So it never leaves it. He switches cars at one point.
Yeah.
But it never is not shot from like basically like almost like a dash cam facing him, or a light, or a camera attached to the side mirror. It's very cool. It's like 100 minutes. Super cool. Check that one out. But anyway, that sequence very much reminded me of that in the way it was filmed. There's a lot of those same shots in Wheelman as well. It's my favorite car movie. Go ahead and check it out. It's awesome.
Great. I'll check it out.
But anyway, poor Killian. Dude, it's beat to shit. And then he gets in the car, drives himself to this competition.
Staggers backstage.
He staggers back there, covered in blood.
Everyone's getting out of his way. Just like
terrified.
Yeah.
And he makes it up to the stage. He's doing his poses, and he passes out.
Yeah.
And he gets home and watches the video of himself
again
at this competition.
This dude just blew up. I don't know what is going on. Maybe he should be doing bodybuilding.
Dude, man, I'll show my man movies on this YouTube for more likes.
Hey, I showed up last time wearing the third act of Novocaine.
You did?
I thought about coming in today just in some tighty whities and oil.
Why didn't you? You're letting down our subscribers.
Let me get that fake tan real quick, guys. I'll be back.
I would have wore a dress like Snow White. It would have been fine. Oh, man, excuse me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
he gets ridiculed.
Goes
on a rampage in his bedroom, tearing down all his posters. What else is he doing?
He tears down the posters. He trashes all his fitness equipment.
Yeah.
And the next scene, dude,
Grandpa the whole time is just like, keep it down.
Right, keep it down in there.
Knock it off.
So he goes to therapy then, and the therapist, can tell. The therapist can see through his bullshit. Like this whole.
He's clearly injured. He's got cuts on his face.
He's a mess.
Yeah.
You can see he's mess physically, mess psychologically. But when she asks him, what's happening, he lies to her. He tells her, I got this deal. I'm going to be in magazines. I got a girlfriend. It's going great. So that was, it was a little bit heartbreaking because you can see in his eyes as he's saying,
he wants
that to be real so bad, but it's not. It's his delusions, right? We get the prostitute scene. He decides to go pick up a prostitute, and it's super awkward. And he tries to kiss her.
Yeah, it's a one scene that I'm like, they could have done that. That was a little too,
yeah. That part probably could have got trimmed. It didn't really do a whole lot for me, but. After that, he decides he's going to go back to work after no showing for a week and a half, and gets fired.
Yeah.
And as they're sitting in this office, this dweeby little manager type is firing him, and he tries to say, well, that's fine. I'll offer you my name and likeness, and the company can use my name and likeness for marketing. And his boss says, Killian, no one knows who you are.
No one knows who you are.
Oh man, and that is the
number one insult that you.
That was like the final nail for his psyche. That was not. That's about the worst thing you can say to this guy, right? His whole thing. I mean, he wants to be somebody to remember him, to be something.
Yeah.
So for this little nothing legacy to say that to him, oh man, that's pretty rough,
Yeah.
But
so after that, he just stumbles over to a nearby diner.
Yeah.
Orders himself some more eggs and what did he have? Bacon or?
It was like eggs and bacon.
Eggs and bacon and a few beers.
Yeah.
Evidently the diner serves beer with the breakfast.
Hey, why not?
So, hey,
it's my kind of diner.
But he does see come through the door the painter, the main one who was hitting him with the pipe. So what does he do? He freaks the hell out. He first walks over, tells him, did you tell your family about me? Did you tell your family? And then he asks him,
confronts him about the whole thing.
Whose drink is this? And it's like a Coca-Cola sitting on the table. He's like, whose is this? He's like, it's my son's. He's like, don't drink this.
It'll make you fat. No one will like you if you're fat.
No one will like you if you're fat.
Oh, man.
That's what he says. And then he walks back to his seat at the bar, drinks it.
They start throwing food at each other.
Yeah, he starts throwing food at
the guy.
As soon as the guy objects, and he just jumps over the
counter, starts he's just harassing everybody in the store.
Not only counter, jumps over like 2 sets of booths.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he leaps.
He does the full Pulp Fiction,
Yeah.
It just starts harassing everybody, and they're gonna call somebody's.
Fat,
I'm gonna call the cops.
Short,
fat, short,
old,
ugly,
bald.
He starts. They try to call the cops, and he's like, call him.
Yeah.
Tell him it's a black man. I'm angry.
6'1" black man, 245 pounds.
And
the whole time he's obsessed with his deltoids.
Yes.
Right. The whole movie, he talks about how in 2016 he did a competition in where was it? Ohio?
Yeah, it was 2016, Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio.
Yep.
He did a competition where a judge told him that his deltoids were too small.
Yep.
So that's something that every time he's working out, what's he working out? His deltoids.
Deltoids. Obsessed
front,
with the deltoids.
Back. Yeah.
Front, back, middle. When you when you tell someone their deltoids are small,
3 different muscle groups.
Yeah, right.
That's great. Yeah. Jonathan Majors, great.
Dude, he's great. Dude, he's huge. Gets huge in this thing, man. The cops arrest him. They beat the shit out of him. They pepper spray him, and of course, they beat him while he's not resisting and all that,
Well, the cop underneath got a face full of pepper spray too. That's the thing about pepper spray and tasers in movies never get used correctly. Whenever someone gets tased, they go unconscious for like 3 days.
You know?
Pepper spray. Only the person who's supposed to be sprayed gets
no
affected.
blowback.
No one else
There's no collateral
is like,
damage.
fuck my eyes. The taser thing is my main gripe with every movie. Every time there's a taser, it's just, I'm knocked out. What? I've seen episodes of Cops. I know that's not how it works.
I've seen him
Come
tase
on.
a guy several times. That just doesn't even work. You know, and a guy like Tillian, oh my god, right?
You know what? For next week's episode, let's tase each other. Let's see how long we.
I'll tase you first, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, let's do it. Ride the lightning, baby.
All right. Following the arrest, he's charged with several crimes: resisting arrest, assault an officer, yada yada yada. He decides he quits therapy. Thanks to the therapist for her time and leaves. Goes on this like montage of a downward spiral. Buys a gun. You know,
starts hanging out at this club.
You know, he's hanging out at a club. All these killing fantasies, like doing cocaine at the club. So
in the bathroom with some creepy guy who keeps touching people.
Right.
Yeah.
And one thing we didn't mention in the beginning, so this entire time he's been writing these letters to his idol,
Brad.
this super famous bodybuilder Brad Vanderhorn.
Yes.
And he keeps writing these letters over and over and over again. Brad
it's a
doesn't
stand
respond to him.
situation where he
he's
keeps writing letters and
guy.
no one's writing him back or calling him.
Yep.
So I'm going to leave my phone number this time. I left a picture of me in here. I have a girlfriend now. Like,
you know?
All this, this takes place, every other scene, essentially? Or every 3 or 4 scenes, they sort of jump back to, letter to Brad. There's Brad.
Right.
All is fair on the battlefront right now. I'm winning all my competitions.
Right.
When are you coming to see me?
You know?
So, Brad finally calls back.
Yep. Calls back.
Tells him, hey, I'm coming into town. I got a shoot coming up. I'd love for you to be backstage.
Yep. And Killian, goes backstage.
Takes him up on that offer.
Brad lets him touch his abs, and he gets him this little
Starlit
fingers that
Bill
tummy.
Cosby's apartment.
Yeah, then we get it implied that those two have some sex. He does Brad
Consensual or
Vanderhorn does
not?
some stuff to Killian.
Yeah.
And Killian wakes up. And they're kind of the next morning, and while Brad is on the phone with his wife, Killian leaves the apartment.
It's clearly uncomfortable.
At the
time,
clearly traumatized from the event. He keeps calling Brad. Brad never answers him. Right.
Yep.
Eventually, he calls Brad and leaves him a long voicemail saying that I'm going to kill someone and then I'm going to kill myself. Remember that judge?
From 2016 in Dayton, Ohio?
Yeah.
The deltoid judge.
So we get to meet deltoid judge. So Killian goes into the house of this judge, right, and waits in the house, waits for the guy to come home. The guy comes home, and of course, he's this little Melvin.
I thought it was like some
out
small
of shape,
apartment,
Melvin-y little dude,
middle age,
right,
just
out of shape, balding,
not a bodybuilder,
no, not a bodybuilder,
retired or otherwise, not a bodybuilder.
So Killian holds him at gunpoint with the intention of killing him, and he makes him strip and makes him do all the poses.
Makes him do the poses.
He's fat and ugly and old.
It's the diner scene again.
It's the diner scene again,
but with gun.
Yeah, with gun.
Yeah, with
diner
gun.
with gun. Yeah. Doesn't kill him,
Just leaves.
Yeah.
Lets him cry in his underwear.
That's how you like to leave a man crying in his underwear.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Tears of joy.
Yeah. So then he pivots and he decides, you know what, I'm going to shoot Brad Vanderhorn instead. So we get a scene of him bringing his rifle in a duffel bag to show that Brad Vanderhorn's doing. He goes backstage, sets up the gun. And he walks, kind of the side stage, and he's pointing the gun at Brad. And we see kind of a montage of the gun goes off, and a little bit of a fantasy scene. There's these. We didn't really talk about the soundtrack. The soundtrack in this thing is amazing.
It's great.
I love it.
It's great.
Between the heavy metal that he's listening to, the instrumentals playing throughout the movie, and then these really dramatic ebbing and flowing Kyries that play during these kind of delusional
Tense
sequences of his, right? fantastic, right? So we get some music and this montage, and it turns out, he did not kill Red Matterhorn. He leaves and goes home, and it breaks down to his grandfather, and they have that moment.
They hug.
Yep. And his grandfather tells him, you've got me, I've got you, and that is the connection that
he's needed the whole time.
He has. All this guy needed the entire time was like a real live hug.
Yeah. And he was right there the whole time.
Yeah.
Right there. All he had to do, he didn't have to go to drive to see Brad. Right. Nothing. No, he just had to walk over and tell Grandpa, hey,
I'm having a hard time.
Yeah.
And you can tell that when they had that moment that the grandfather kind of understands. Like, he was in Vietnam. He knows what a broken man looks like. Right. So you get that moment of he knows, right? He's been through that sort of thing. And sometimes, the war that his grandfather saw, right, and the war going on in Killian's mind with himself, can have pretty similar effects to a person. So to see that final connection and have him, get some kind, my gosh, I'm gonna die.
Some relief.
Some kind of catharsis there at the very end, right? It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So then we get a montage, right? He's gonna fix his life. He redesigns his room. He takes all his like Brad Vanderhorn posters down. He puts up some black bodybuilders, and he puts up a big poster of himself.
Yeah.
He's gonna be his own hero now. He's gonna keep working on it.
He's accepted.
Then, we get so the very first shot we get of Jonathan Majors in the movie is him opening up his garage to work out, and you see him, shirt off, and he's all ripped, cut like a bodybuilder, right? You see all the veins and all the skin, sinew, and we get
deltoids.
Yes, the deltoids. You get this. You get the last shot of the movie. The final shot of the movie is a mirror of that same shot. Only this time, his body is healthy.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he's sick, and he looks good. He's still huge, massive. Yeah. But he's doing it right. He's doing it right, man. It's not hopefully not shooting the juice.
It's a much brighter ending than I was expecting, especially because
I was totally totally expecting Saint Maud.
Yeah. Self-immolation on the beach.
This was
full.
Definitely going one way,
Yeah. Saint Maud's actually a really good parallel to this, because it's just one scene after another, just like this person is not getting it right.
Somewhere between Saint Maud,
someone help,
the Joker, and
King of Comedy.
And
to an extent,
Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe,
Swiss Army Man.
Swiss Army Man. Yes, yes. I definitely got a little bit of the last 5 minutes of Swiss Army Man,
and just
at some point
fantasy bit.
The delusions.
Okay.
Like all that.
The trippiness.
Yeah. Once. It was. Yeah. Like I said, it's the last 5 minutes of Swiss Army Man. Once.
Right.
We've come to the spoiler alert conclusion of what's actually happening in real life. But yeah, that was Magazine Dreams. That was fantastic.
It was great.
Yep.
Yeah. Is it a movie that you would like to check out frequently or watch? Maybe once a year.
Watch?
No.
Is it something that I recommend everybody watches? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I really think that this is a powerful movie. This is the first movie of its kind this year that will really, I think, resonate with a lot of people on a very deep level, a very deep connection to the kind of isolation that a lot of people do feel in today's society, right? So I definitely recommend check this out. This movie is fantastic. Magazine Dreams, 2025. Give it a shot. Regardless of what you might think of Jonathan Majors and all of that going on, this is an outstanding performance. Yeah. And so give it a try. See what you think.
Do you think it's enough to revive
his career?
The career?
Well, we'll see what goes on with all these new allegations.
Yeah.
I think if that didn't happen, And I think if maybe we were just moving forward from the Jabari Grace allegations.
I mean, look, Chris Brown still has a career. he's what, selling out shows and stuff?
Yeah. But I just...
You beat Rihanna, dude.
Yeah.
How do you beat Rihanna? Who doesn't like Rihanna?
I ain't even gonna get into defending Chris Brown. I don't like Chris Brown, you know. But I think if we start to see more allegations piling on or more serious behavior comes to light, there is a good chance that we don't see so much of Jonathan Majors, because I don't know in the current age of cinema that we're in if many studios are going to be willing to take that kind of risk.
Big risk.
Yep. Are you going to anchor your giant, multi-million-dollar
You said this was Sony and Spotlight?
No, this was originally Disney and Spotlight, because
Disney
he was
right. He was signed to Disney,
right?
So
now it's Briarcliff.
What was the budget for this one?
$8 million.
$8 million. Okay.
You see everybody. It looks fantastic. It's fine. Yeah. It's great. Looks fantastic.
Super well shot.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
I gotta say, the cinematographer for this movie, whatever else, I believe they did Macbeth, the 2015 with Michael Fassbender, Macbeth. So another gorgeous movie. Or no, was that Electric State? I think the cinematographer for that did Electric State.
Yeah, I really do hope that this is big. I hope that he gets recognition for this performance, because this is the sort of performance that we just don't see anymore. But I think the overall outlook for Jonathan Majors' career will rely heavily on what we see in the coming weeks and months, as far as any more allegations or as more evidence surfaces, as far as the tapes that were released this week.
No, that was the cinematographer for Magazine Dreams.
Thinking for next week.
Yes. What do we got? There's not too much coming out.
Next week, there's really isn't. I'm thinking we're probably going to be looking at either... We might do both of them. We might only do one. I haven't quite decided. Death of a Unicorn with Paul Rudd and Wednesday and what's her name?
Jenna Ortega.
Jenna Ortega. And
Will Poulter.
Yep. Or do we watch A Working Man, also Beekeeper
Jason
7,
Statham.
and Jason Statham, the movie 5000. We're gonna find out. We'll see how the week takes us, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm personally at the moment leaning towards Death of a Unicorn, just because I know A Working Man is going to be 87th Jason Statham movie.
We've seen him.
It's exactly the same thing, you know.
Well, I enjoy it probably, but you know.
But you know what would really help us find out and narrow that down is if you guys let us know in the comments.
Yes.
Let me know in the comments what you want to see. Well,
make up my mind for me.
There we go. Right. Did we see any good previews? I saw some good previews. I saw Karate Kid Legends. Jackie Chan, Ralph Macchio, everybody's coming back.
Did that come on before Snow White?
It was Snow White.
Okay.
That looks pretty good. I haven't seen the originals, but I'm totally going to watch them to prep for this. LEO, animated series, animated movie coming out. Looks pretty good.
Never heard of it.
I look up that trailer. I didn't really take a whole bunch of notes on it, so I'm not super, I do remember it looking
Didn't
fantastic.
stick out?
No. I do remember the animation looking good. Lilo and Stitch, though, oh man, that boy looks pretty good. I'm super stoked for the live action Lilo and Stitch.
I'm not a fan of all these live action remakes. I'm not.
No, neither am I.
I'm fine with the cartoons.
Right. And I don't even think Stitch came out that long ago.
It was like
25
years.
But the little animated, the animation on Stitch looks great. I'm pretty excited.
I remember watching it during the Super Bowl with the ad that they ran there where he runs across the field. Looked cute.
Exactly. Adorable. Yeah. I would watch that. I just had to watch Snow White. I would way rather watch Lilo.
Your favorite part was the cute little deer.
It literally was. It literally was my favorite part, was the cute little deer. And then, so those were all the things I saw previews for with my Snow White package. When I saw Magazine Dreams, the only one that really stood out was The Luckiest Man in America.
That looks great.
Oh, it does look great.
That looks great. Paul Walter Hauser.
Yes, our fella from, what's that one where he's
Richard Jewell.
Richard Jewell. Gonna blow some shit up, but I didn't.
Dude, he's great.
Yep.
He's also in I Think You Should Leave. He's got a few skits in that. Jamie Taco. Did you ever see
that? No.
All right.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Paul Walter. Oh, he was in I, Tonya. He played Sean.
I don't think I've seen I, Tonya.
You haven't seen I, Tonya?
No.
Okay.
Oh,
you know
man.
what? We're not doing Death of a Unicorn or Working Man. We're watching I, Tonya.
Oh my god.
My gosh. Dude, he's so good in I, Tonya. He stole the movie, so...
Check it out.
Yeah.
Check
it out.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Well,
do you have anything going on in the world this week?
Just work.
Just work? Work. Yeah, you're off your PTO. You're going back to real life.
I'm running out.
Yeah. I am also probably working this week. I want to try to get some fishing in. Now that the weather is breaking where I'm at, I live right in a chain of river systems, and it's part of the reason I live where I live, because I love to get out and enjoy some outdoors, enjoy some fishing, all that sort of good stuff. So really hoping to get into some of that this week. Gonna be learning some new stuff and taking on some new responsibilities at my day job too. So that sounds pretty cool. Maybe, kind of, sort of, I guess.
Yeah.
Get some extra stuff to do. What's one more thing to do? What's one more thing?
You got time. You're great.
Right? Yeah, it'll be fine. It's not like I'm editing video every night. It's fine. But I think that's pretty much it. No, I don't really have a lot else going on. I'm excited for the future, man. Excited.
Skydiving in a couple weeks.
Yep. That'll be cool.
April 11th.
Nice.
Going skydiving again. So
nice.
Cannot wait, man.
Hey, yeah.
I got my license.
I will be there on the ground live streaming for when Tim goes splat, and I'll bring you guys there with me.
Yeah. Make sure to leave a like.
Yep. Yeah. 10,000 likes and he doesn't pull the string. No, seriously. It's, please pull the string, because we have a lot more episodes to make of this. But I think that wraps it up for me, man. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Well, I appreciate everyone coming to episode 2 of the Holly Dudes podcast. Next week, it's coming out Sunday. We'll see you again. Guys, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.